Today we're going to be checking out if the ascended god power of Irina is any good in the light domain. Let's immediately dive in. This unique new god power feels very specific. I mean, you can't play a heal light deck with it, and you can only buff creatures that have 2 strength or less. So today I came up with the idea to try this new ascended Irina god power with a light Olympian deck. Because this deck usually runs the heal god power anyway, to make sure that your Olympians have a lot of health. This is kind of similar, right? Because we're going to be giving +2 health to our Olympians with our god power, we're going to be dominating the early game, and then we're going to be using Ages of the Innocent or the Raneko Hearth Mother to close the game out if we pair it up with a card like Annoying. So let's immediately try this deck out in the ranked ladder to see how well it performs. This time we're playing against the War Domain. Let me just start with Irina, obviously, and then I'm going to play the Blind Martyr here, an Enduring Shield for my opponent. I think I can just buff this guy up now and deal a couple of damage to my opponent. That's a Warmonger's Myth, but that is kind of okay. And then Rage as well, that's cool. My opponent is going to attack, but we can make sure that this creature survives another turn, in all honesty. I'm just going to utilize my god power to the fullest here. Let me just deal 2 more damage to my opponent, and that's going to be it. That's going to be 4 mana, my opponent is going... Whoa! Okay, that is still going to be alive though. And I mean, now I can play the Aging Veteran, I can play the Raneko Hearth Mother. Do I want to do that? Yeah, I think I'm going to play the Raneko Hearth Mother here and follow up with the Spiritual Benefactor onto you really. And then I'm going to make sure that this guy has 4 health and 4 strength. And I'm just going to end my turn, in all honesty. Let's force my opponent to use an attack onto that creature, and that's going to buff all of my creatures up, so that's going to be so much value. They have 4 mana left. Guys, I think that this turn is going to determine the game. Okay, there goes my Raneko Hearth Mother, and then Rage as well. That's okay though. Yeah, I mean, we'll take that, not the end of the world. I think I'm just going to play Master of the Mill here, to make sure that this guy gets +3 strength, so that we can make a very effective trade happen. And then I think I'm just going to clear one of those and deal 1 more damage to my opponent. I'm going to take the Swashbuckler as well, and that's going to be it for now. Enrage for my opponent. This is going to be at 4 strength now, that's okay though. There goes my Master of the Mill. That's okay, because this is going to survive, and that's going to be a lot of damage now. Plus I can protect that creature since I have the Blind Martyr. Let me immediately clear you with a Swashbuckler as well. Guys, I'm also going to use my god power on Irina. Let me just deal quite a bit of damage to my opponent. And I am even going to take Trial Begins. And that should be it for now. Yep, that's a very strong frontline creature, but still guys, I think we are poised to win the game very very soon. I am going to get so much value out of my god power right now by buffing up the Swashbuckler. Because what I can do is I can buff you up, then I can play the Militant Thighs onto that, and then I can just attack here with you, then I can attack again, I can deal 1 damage here, and then you know what? I am kind of tempted to clear this, and I think I will, yeah. Let's not give the option to my opponent to use their god power to clear that, so let me just end my turn afterwards. That's a Draka Gatherer. I think we just won the game, yep. Just like that, this game is ours. Let me just buff Irina up, who is now a 3/10 creature. What? I guess that works, yep. It's a win! This time we're playing against the Magic Domain. Since I'm going first, I am obviously going to start with Irina here. Yep, that's a decent start. Let's see what kind of deck we're playing against. A Sip of Elixir for my opponent, which is going to give us a lot of value on the board. Let him immediately play the Olympian card, and then I am dealing 3 damage to my opponent. Okay, my opponent is playing a ramp up kind of deck, so we really need to start going very wide on the board, because if we don't win early, we're probably going to be losing this game. Let me just attack here with you, then I'm going to buff you up, and I am dealing 5 more damage to my opponent this turn. Let me just end my turn afterwards. It's a very strong creature for my opponent. We're at 4 mana right now, so I can just play the Olympian Guard. I can follow up with a Gleam Weaver to destroy those 2 cards from the Void. You know what, I'm going to trade this here to buff my creatures up. I can obviously trade that and deal 1 more damage to my opponent. That should be it for now. On the next turn I'm probably going to play Ages of the Innocent onto my Olympian Guard. Since my opponent is ramping up so much, we really need to start dealing a lot of damage, and yep, just like that I'm going to play my Ages of the Innocent. My Olympian Guard is going to be an 8/8 creature now, and guys, I'm just going to trade those 2 very easily, and I'm dealing 3 more damage to my opponent, and they have 10 health left. 7 mana they are going to play. What is that going to be? Unbound Flames. Oh wait, they can actually clear the board like that. What a strong play, actually. Is that going to be enough for them to recover? Probably. They are also going to take the combat medic from the Sanctum. Here's my Raneko Hearth Mother, that's cool. Let me take the lootable corpse. I'm going to play Thestor, then I'm going to play a lootable corpse, and I think I'm even going to play Petros. But now, guys, it's starting to be very tricky now to clear out this game. Since my opponent is at 7 mana already. Yep, they have an Ember Oni, but Thestor is going to survive. That's cool. I can play Master of the Mill here to buff Thestor up a bit more and follow up with a Field Medic, I guess, to make sure that we have another strong creature here. Now the question is, do we trade the Ember Oni? I guess I have to, right? But my opponent is already healed up to 19 health. A Ratify, actually. We don't really mind that. We don't really mind that because what I can do is play another Master of the Mill, in all honesty. Or, yeah, I guess I have to. Let's make this guy a little stronger. And I'm just going to deal 2 damage to my opponent now. Not the best turn. My opponent is going to start by drawing a card. And that's going to be a Glean. But wait. Is that enough for us to win the game? We have so much damage right now, but it's not enough to actually pull a one-hit KO. But still, I'm just going to start with my God Power here, guys. Then I am going to play the Raneko Hearth Mother, and I am going to follow up with the Enraged Healer to make sure that this is a 10-10 creature now. Let him just deal 10 damage to my opponent. I'm going to deal 5 more. And that should be it for now. Hopefully my opponent is not going to be able to clear this board. We are now at 8 mana, so that means that they can play Arandion. Okay, that's still alive somehow. Tracking Bolt as well. 4 mana left. We still have a board. That's a frontline creature, but we can get past that. And guys, I think that's game over. Yep. Unless... Yep. I think that's game over, basically. Yep, it's going to be a win. We'll take that. Let me just buff you up with my God Power, and that is actually going to be what gives us the lethal in this case. This game, even though we won with 30 health left, was very close, since my opponent was at 8 mana and Arandion was in their hand. It's a win, we'll take it. We're playing against the War Domain. My opponent is going to play a Blade Caster, but sadly we can't even clear that immediately, so I'm a little bit confused as to how I want to play that. Yeah, our starting hand is not the best. I think I'm just going to use my God Power to buff Irina up, and then I'm going to even follow up with Humble Benefactor. I'm just going to go face, sadly. Okay, that's an Noddy for my opponent, which means that I can buff Irina up even more with my God Power. We can trade here, and then I can even play the Spiritual Benefactor, just for tempo, basically, so that we don't waste the extra mana. And even though my opponent is going to probably go face here, we can play Cern on the next turn to give order to that creature, or Kadmos even. Oh, please don't get +1 health. Okay, the Afterlife we can deal with. Okay guys, I think we're still in the game, honestly. Oh, okay, that's a problem now, because we can't clear that creature, sadly. Kadmos is not good enough. I think Cern, probably, is the play here. And you know what, I'm just going to give order to that creature then. That's going to buff Irina up. I can then make a trade happen and just end my turn afterwards. My opponent is going to win the Tempt Fate, and that's a Mountain Watcher as well. That's going to be a very strong creature, but my Philip Janissary is great here to make sure that we can clear that. Irina has grown so strong, actually, in this game. Let me just trade here, then I can clear you. And in all honesty, I think this is going to be a turn to play Lysander Spear and just end my turn afterwards. Irina is going to go down to my opponent's God Power. Oh, and the Commander Pyros, we really need to get rid of that. And I mean we will on the next turn. Yep, we can still get rid of that, since I have my very reliable relic here. Now the question is, what do we follow up with? I guess Kadmos makes a bit of sense. Okay, I am always starting with my God Power, because we can't let Pyros survive ever. Then, yeah, I guess it's going to have to be Kadmos here. And then I'm actually going to buff Kadmos up, or you. No, I think it's going to be Kadmos. Let's force my opponent to trade both of their creatures here. And that's going to be it for now. Yep. My opponent is going to miss the Tempt Fate, so they don't get Twin Strike, which is so huge for us. Still, Kadmos is probably going to go down now, after my opponent attacks, and then they can just use their God Power. Guys, it's close, it's a very close game. We are really hoping that my opponent doesn't top deck something huge. That's a Swart Basilisk for my opponent. They're going to play that, we knew that this was coming. Oh, wait, actually they're going to trade that. That's a bit of a problem now. I guess I can play the Militant Theist here to reduce the strength of one of those. I guess you. Then I can play the Aging Veteran and buff this guy up a little bit. And then with my relic I'm going to buff you up and just end my turn afterwards. Still, it's a very close game. My opponent found Twin Strike. But that's okay. One of my creatures is going to survive, probably. Fracture as well. And then with their good Catherine, what are they going to do? My opponent is going to attack directly and play a Thundercaller. We can trade that quite easily with my aging veteran. An enraged ally as well. Okay, so that's a lot of stuff now on the board. We are starting to be a little afraid. I guess I can take the Ogre Archer here. Yeah, I think that is going to make the most sense to trade you. Do I ever just play Master of the Mill? Is it too greedy? I think not. Actually, let me just buff you up. Then I am going to play the Field Medic. I am just going to trade that creature. And then I am going to buff up the Master of the Mill even more. And that's going to be it. Yep. My opponent has a lot of damage now. This is the only thing that I'm worried about. My opponent is just going to concede. Wow. I guess we'll take that. It's a win. We're playing against the Deception domain now. And it looks like it's going to be a weird aggro deck. So let me immediately play Irina down on the board. And follow up with my aging veteran. This is going to be a match where tempo is very important. Okay, my opponent is going to put that to sleep. But that is kind of okay. You know what? Argus is going to be very, very useful here. Let me immediately do that. Since my opponent is going to have to find a way to clear that. Another Shadow of Lethenon, that's okay. And the Hunting Trap as well, wow. So they are curving out perfectly right now, which makes me a little sad. Lysander Spear is going to be a little slow, I think, here. So let me follow up with you and a Humble Benefactor as well onto my Irina. My opponent is going to play an Illusionist Outlaw and then follow up with Flip. Here's my Raneko Hearth Mother, but I think right now I'm just going to play Lysander Spear to start generating some value. Let me buff you up so that we can make a trade happen here. And then I am going to continue attacking my opponent directly. And that should be it for now. Yep, you have already taken quite a bit of damage. That's another Illusionist Outlaw for my opponent. And Valkas's Discovery, they're going to make sure that they steal that from the Sanctum. But honestly, I'm still not that worried. We have Thestor, who is going to... I mean, I can buff Irina up to trade that creature immediately. Then I can follow up with Thestor. And you know what? And then I'm just going to use my God Power, as weird as that might seem. Let me buff you up. And let's deal 3 more damage to my opponent. I am also going to take the Combat Medic from the Sanctum to make sure that we heal up for 2 in a little bit. And yeah, now my opponent is forced to make a decision here. What do you want to do? You want to clear Thestor or not? Nope, they're just going to continue going face. And the Hunting Trap, that's okay. And that's all. They're not even going to use their God Power, which makes me a little worried. So let me start with a Combat Medic here to heal myself up for a little bit. Then in all honesty, I can play the Overwhelmed. Actually, you know what? I'm going to play you and just end my turn afterwards. After I attack and buff my creatures up. Yep, and hopefully with the 2 cards that my opponent has left, they are not going to find lethal. I am even going to take the Trial Begins to find the frontline creature on the next turn. My opponent has 3 cards left. Rapture Dance, wow! What a top deck. What a top deck. We get a couple of frontline creatures here, so I think I'm going to play those immediately. Let me play the Home Guard Protector here, then I can buff him up, or even you. Let me buff you up, and then I'm going to play the Trial Begins instead of using my God Power to actually find, I think Kadmos is going to make the most sense here. And yeah, that should be it for now. We're still going to take 2 more damage and surprise delivery. Whoa, what a deck! That Rapture Dance top deck was really, really lucky for my opponent. And realistically, guys, I think that we just lost a game. My opponent is even going to draw a couple of fleeting illusions. That is very, very lucky, in my opinion. And realistically, I think that this game is lost. I can buff Kadmos up quite a bit to make sure that he survives a few attacks, but still, I think it's going to be very, very difficult for us to win this game. I actually have Raneko Hearth Mother, so if my opponent doesn't go all in here, we might be able to win on the next turn. We'll see. Eiko as well. Okay, my opponent is going to attack. That is kind of okay, I guess. Oh, wait, is that... Oh, it's not enough to win the game. Oh my goodness, these barrels are so... Oh, wait. Do we have a chance? I can start by trading this creature immediately. Oh wait, no, how much damage do I have? This is going to be... Let me start with my God Power, right? I really need to do that. Then that is going to be up at 4 health. No, it's not enough. It is not going to be enough, sadly. I need to trade here, then I can play the Raneko Hearth Mother. I can follow up with Annoying to make sure that this creature goes up to 8 health. Then I can play the Aging Veteran to make it go up to 8 strength. And guys, it's not going to be enough for us to win. We are going to take a lot of damage now, sadly. My opponent played a very weird deck That Rapture Dance really destroyed our game, but still, I think we had a very good chance to win this. Ultimately, today I ended up winning 3 games and losing 2. This archetype was very strong to begin with, so does the Irina God Power actually make it a stronger or a weaker deck? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. The Light Olympians are a very fun archetype, and I think Irina really pairs well with this type of deck. Let me know in the comments if you have any other use for the Light Ascended God Power, maybe some Zoo deck, but I haven't really found a lot of success with that when I was testing stuff out. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a comment because that immediately enters you into my weekly giveaways. Don't forget to drop a like because that also helps out a lot. And you can also subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching. This has been Chris and I'll see you all tomorrow with a brand new deck idea. Enjoy!